This meeting of the Oak Park City Council is called to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk Ed Norris, please call the roll.
Mayor McClellan,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Here.
Councilmember Speech,
She is excused because of illness.
Councilmember Radner,
Councilmember Radner is out of town on business.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. A motion to approve the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the consent agenda. These are routine items that are okayed as a group without discussion. Any council member can ask one to be dropped and discussed. A, regular council meeting minutes of January 17th, 2017, special council meeting minutes of January 17th, retirement board meeting minutes of October 10th, November 10th, December 12th, request to cancel the regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting of February 13th due to lack of business, request to cancel the regularly scheduled Zoning Board of Appeals meeting of February 28th for the same reason, request to advertise for bids for the 2017 water main replacement project M649, payment application number 1 in the amount of $43,128.90 to Deutsch Environmental Services for the 2016 sewer and catch basin cleaning and TV inspection project M641. H, licenses new and renewals as submitted for February 6th. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We have 2 elected officials, and we'll start at the state level with our state representative, Robert Wittenberg. Thank you for coming to Oak Park. Is it on? Press your button.
Oh, that. Oh, there it is. We have these, I will not talk, so here, I'll back up a little. I know I usually yell in front of groups of people, so I'll back up a little here. Thank you for having me. Just wanted to come in and check in and give you a brief update of what's going on. Not much, to be honest with you, in Lansing. We started a new session, so I was reelected, thankfully, in November and took office again in January. And we were just assigned our committees about 2 weeks ago, and I am on the insurance committee. I'm on a committee called Law and Justice, which I keep thinking sounds like a TV show more than anything. And then I am the minority vice chair on a committee, the Financial Liability Reform Committee. And I served on that committee last time as the minority vice chair. So those are the committees that I'm serving on, and wanted to just update people on upcoming coffee hours and encourage people to come out. And we've actually had some really good turnout so far. We've had a couple coffee hours, had one today in Berkeley. The next one will be this Friday in Hazel Park at the Hazel Park Library at 3:30. And then the one following that will be here in Oak Park on March 6th, Monday, March 6th. It'll be here at the community center at 5 p.m. And then there'll be one on Tuesday, March 7th at the Pleasant Ridge Community Center at 5 p.m. as well. And then every month we try to do at least 2 coffee hours, and representing 7 different communities, we like to rotate each month to try to go to different communities. And so we will try to do one during the day and one in the evening, like we did last time, so that people that work during the day can come in the evening and vice versa. But encourage people to come out. Like I said, we've had really good turnout and really good discussions during these coffee hours. And so that's your time to come out there and voice your opinion, offer suggestions, questions, And so it's important for me to hear from all of our residents. As your representative in Lansing, I want to be your voice in Lansing, and I can't do that unless I know what's going on and what's important to all of you. So make your voice heard. You can also call and email me. You do not have to show up to the coffee hours, and you can also you don't have to go to the one in your community. You can go to any of the coffee hours. And as I always do, I'll give you my email and my phone number. You can email me at Robert Wittenberg. That's Robert, Wittenberg, at house.mi.gov. And phone number is 517-373-0478. So it took me to my second term to remember that. Usually I'm cheating and looking at my card, but I do have that memorized now. But just want to encourage people to come out and reach out if there's ever anything we can do. And if I can't help you, then we'll point you in the right direction, or we'll put you in touch with someone that can. And so, again, I just want to be there as a resource to all the residents here in Oak Park and throughout the 27th district. So that's really it, just very brief. And so I don't know if any of you have any questions for me, or if there's ever anything I can do, you know how to reach me.
Thank you for being so accessible.
Thank you.
I have a question for
Oh,
you.
question,
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I read today in the news that one of the representatives resigned. Will, since it's so early in the term, actually the very first month, will there be a re-election or something done to replace him? And do you know if and when that'll?
I don't know the timing yet, but yes, there will have to be a special election. So one of my colleagues from Detroit resigned today, and we're a month into the session. So there will be a special election. I don't know if that will be on the ballot in March. They're going to have to do a primary and a general. So I don't know if they're going to do March and August or what they're going to do. So this is new. This is news to me. I actually just heard about this a few hours ago that he resigned. So I don't know all the details as of right now, but they will have to have an election. And so the timing, stay tuned.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. And then we have our Oakland County Commissioner, Helene Zach.
Good evening, everybody. Helene Zach. I'm the County Commissioner for East Oak Park. Want to let you know that I will be serving again on Finance Committee, Human Resources. I am the Oakland County appointee to the Area Agency on Aging, 1B, as well as I serve on SEMCOG, or all my official different assignments. There was some media attention about the Area Agency on Aging 1B. I do want to assure everybody that there's no concern for senior services. What happened was the Area Agency on Aging 1B called a special board meeting for January 3rd, and I was not allowed to attend because by their bylaws, my official appointment ended December 31st, 2016. And I tried to advocate that they should delay the special meeting. It didn't happen, and Oakland County wasn't happen. So they wrote a resolution notifying them about suspension of funding, and they did come before the General Government Committee, and things are okay. And I can assure everybody that I was briefed what happened after I was appointed, and that they are continuing to provide quality services to our seniors in Oakland County. But I've heard from a lot of people about the media attention.
We have a question from the city manager.
I
Yes.
didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to just thank you for your support for our Corridor Improvement Authority plan thus far. Thank you very much. And assuming that City Council approves this amendment to our plan tonight, I would also like to make a request that we did receive a letter from the county administrative staff today in support of it, but I'd like to request that your continued support goes forward as you now take it up in the full committee session.
Absolutely. I am there to squire it along, and I was notified that that Oak Park will come before the TIF DDA committee, but, I don't see problems at this point, but if, I can make it, I will attend there. And then after there's an approval in there, then it comes before the Finance Committee for the next level. So I'm always sitting there advocating, watching out for Oak Park's behalf. And I'm very excited that we're finally getting there. So I learned about, last year Oakland County purchased a new van to transport veterans. And so we do have transportation that picks up at the South Oakland Health Center once a week or twice a week. People do need to get there. And this transportation service will take people to medical, like Veterans Medical downtown, places like that. And there can be specialized wheelchair services for veterans as well. So you can call the Veterans Department, 248-858-0785. It's another benefit and resource. And we do have wonderful veteran services for Oakland County residents. It makes me crazy that we need to have veterans counselors to help sort the federal regulations, but I'm glad they are there, and they help our residents get about $1 million worth of benefits every year by sorting through the
Now, Oak Park
regulations.
has a veterans court. Is the veterans court aware of the Vans for Vets?
Oh, absolutely. They work together
Okay.
cooperatively. The Veterans Court is done in conjunction with the Oakland County Veterans Department. We are in the process that we have allocated $50,000 out of the Board of Commissioners Special Projects Fund to address more human trafficking issues in Oakland County. And yes, we do have problems with human trafficking. So we established a study group among the Board of Commissioners and others to decide how to allocate and spend this additional funding to address human trafficking in our county. As of today, if you go on the Oakland County website, the summer jobs and internships are posted for 2 weeks. So you can go to www.oakgov.com/human-resources/jobs and see the postings. There's summer jobs and some internships available in some of the departments. I also want to encourage people, I know that City Manager Tungate listened to the infrastructure report at SEMCOG, and there is an initiative through SEMCOG and also the state that if you see potholes and infrastructure issues, you're supposed to be reporting them. And SEMCOG would love you to report it to them at layton@semcog.org, or it's fixmystate.org as well. It's fixmistate.org to report potholes to the state. But SEMCOG's also trying to keep track of our region's problems to have a handle on it. So I encourage people to use these tools so we can be proactive. Any other questions for me? Yes.
Yes, you stated that the summer jobs and internships will be posted Oakland County website for the next 2 weeks, beginning to.
Correct. They open today and then they close the 20th. And there is no extension beyond that. Thank you.
Thank you. Uh, 8A, we have a public hearing on a resolution to approve the amended development plan and tax increment financing plan for the Oak Park Corridor Improvement Authority. Do we have someone to speak on that? Director Kim Maroney.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members. We have revised our Corridor Improvement Authority TIF and development plan in order to comply with what the Oakland County TIF board would like us to do to enter into an agreement with them to capture a portion of the county taxes to go towards our corridor improvement authority plans. So it now includes personal property tax. Other than that, that is the only items that were changed within the plans. All of our goals are the same. It just includes personal property tax, where before it did not. We do have a letter that I put in front of city council members I received late this afternoon from Matt Gibb with his support of the plan. It still does need to go in front of their TIF and DDA board for final approval, and we hope to do that later this month.
And are you going to attend those meetings?
Yes, we're trying to coordinate it.
Wonderful.
And
Any
I'm
other
happy to
questions?
answer any questions that you have on any of the changes to the plan.
No questions?
Give me one more minute.
And just so the residents know, the plan is on our website under the Corridor Improvement Authority tab. We have the original plan that we approved, and then also the amended plan that we're proposing.
Thank you so much. Now I'm going to open the public hearing to allow anyone who has comments about this particular issue to speak. This is on the small change to the development plan for the Oak Park Corridor Improvement Authority. Money will come to us from Oakland County, and that money can be used to beautify 9 Mile Road businesses and Coolidge businesses and make them more attractive and appealing. Is there anybody who is here to speak about that issue? Seeing no hands, I will close the public hearing. And then we need a motion to approve the amended development plan and tax increment financing plan for the Oak Park Corridor Improvement Authority.
So moved.
Support?
And supported. Do we need a roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Absolutely, yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Next, it will go to Oakland County, the 2 committees and the committee as a whole. Item 10A is a special event request and waiver of fees is submitted by the Oak Park Schools for an art contest, reception, and award ceremony to be held at City Hall on March 30th, 2017. And the 2 hardworking art teachers are here to talk about it, Eileen Bigham and Charlie Bugelli. Would you like to come up and explain to those who haven't seen it in previous years what this wonderful event is and how you involve the children?
Good evening. Can you hear me? And thank you for having us. Each year, well, for the past 2 years, this will be our 3rd year. We work, Charles Bugelli and I are the 2 elementary art teachers in the district. And we team teach and work with the students, and we pick an elementary classroom from each of the 3 elementary schools, Pepper, Einstein, and Key. And each of those classrooms does a special painting, and then we professionally mat and color coordinated, and then we put it up
You
here
are a
in City
professional
Hall.
matter, aren't you?
I am a professional.
So we do get them
It
professionally
is a professional
done.
matter. So, yes, and
Can you tell us what the theme is? Is that giving away too
well,
much?
I'll let Mr.
Okay.
Bugelli speak about that.
Well, the theme this year is the future of Oak Park, so we thought we'd do self-portraits, and this is some of the ideas that we have.
Oh,
something
beautiful.
on that level. And we might have, with the optical illusion, we also were thinking of maybe a collage of a different type, but I think we're going more with that. And this is more like a same type of thing, but a girl. But
No, I
the-
know you're thinking that's high school work. That's elementary school work.
We're working with 4th graders this year, and I don't think we have any 5th graders, do we?
No,
No
fourth
fifth.
grade.
We all have all 4th grades in all schools. So, yeah, we really need to teach them how to structure the face in pencil, and then how to do work with the paint and the layers of paint. And then we have the optical illusion thing too, which is kind of interesting too. So
makes
it
the
will be
background-
fun, and it's
And then,
always,
and we also have them do a clay piece, and they're going to be doing a clay portrait. And we also have them work on some statements, some artist statements that, you know, so that they can express kind of their process. And it's a really great project for the kids. And so what we're asking for from City Council is we would like to encourage the children in art. And in the past, it had been kind of the idea thrown around that we make this a contest. And we feel that that just kind of creates a little bit of dissension, and really the kid who wins feels very good about it. And so in order to encourage the students in art, we were just asking for a small amount of funds so we can purchase sketchbooks and a pencil for each student, so that their participation in this project, that they also have some materials that they can work with at home, and would encourage their further develop them in art. And also for, I think part of this includes like some cookies and juice for the reception that we hold for them. So I
Amazing.
think that's
It's
kind of-
amazing what you do. It's beyond belief. Our assistant to the city manager, Crystal McLean, would like to talk about the financing. This money does not come from the general fund.
So, good evening. I've helped out with this event for the last 2 years. If you approve it tonight, this will be the third annual. And in the past, we have waived, or you guys have agreed to waive, the fee for them. And we've also provided a donation in the amount that gives them the ability to provide a sketch pad and a pencil to the students, as well as we've provided cookies and water bottles and things like that. So that's what they're asking for. And in the past, instead of coming from the general fund, it's actually come from a fund that is funded by the mayor through the weddings that she performs. So I believe that has a balance of $2,000 in it right now.
Thank you so much. This is phenomenal,
I just
what
have one
what they do.
question.
There's a question, Mayor Pro Tem?
I think this is wonderful. This is a wonderful event. Why do you hold it from 10:30 to 1:30?
Oh, what a very good question. The first year that we did it, we actually held it in the evening. And what we found is that there were many working parents, and a lot of people could not attend. Some of the children themselves could not attend. So we decided to make it a field trip, and then that way all of the children would be able to attend that participated in it. And what we found was the additional bonus, unexpected, is that actually more parents came because their children were on a field trip, and we had 3 times the number of parents show up, and then all the children were able to attend. So we saw no reason to do anything other but to continue with that time frame.
Thank you. I will try and adjust my schedule so that I can attend as well. I think this is a very good event.
This is just a lot of joy coming out of this event.
And Mr. Bajelli just brought up a very good point. We also piggybacked that with an additional field trip that Crystal provided down the road. It's the social studies, and the children actually voted on their favorite picture, and we kind of explained the voting process to them, and then they went and saw some other things in city government, how city government works. So we've actually been able to, add on a bit to that. So it's worked out very
Content.
well.
More content. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank you.
You go above and beyond. I taught school for 32 years, and I know what goes into just regular teaching, and this is above and beyond. So thanks for being in Oak Park. So we need a motion to accept this special event and waiver of fees.
So moved?
Second?
Any discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Rich,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 11 is accounting reports. Let's see. There we This is approval for payment of an invoice submitted by Seacrest, Wardle, Lynch, Hampton, Truex, and Morley for legal services in the amount of $7,462.98. A motion to approve payment?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion or questions? Councilmember Radner couldn't be here tonight, so in his stead, I'd like to remind you to always pay your lawyer bill.
I was just
Thank
gonna
you.
say that.
And let's have a roll call.
Councilmember Rich,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried. There are no bids or ordinances. We are at the city manager portion of our agenda.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. First, 15A, I'd like to remind our residents that we will be having our State of the City address here in this room, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, and that will be February 15th, beginning with light refreshments at 6 p.m. out in the hallway here, and then here in the council chambers, we'll be giving the State of the City address at 7 p.m. With that, I'd like to ask our Finance Director, Carl Johnson, to join me at the podium for 15B, please.
Reminder, if you like to sit in the chairs, come early.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I've only got a couple hours worth of stuff tonight, so I'll try to make it brief. Actually, it's pretty light for me, and you know me, I love to talk. So the first item we have here is establishing the rates for our Board of Review members and establishing a meeting date. So our city charter specifies that the rates are set by ordinance by you set them annually. So the recommended rates continue to be 80 for a full day and 40 for a half day. That is unchanged from last year. The charter also mandates that the Board of Review meet on the first or the second and fourth Monday of March. And so those are set by the charter, and the city has historically added an additional date for that. And so the additional date would be March 14th in the evening from 6 to 9 p.m. as laid out in the motion there. So I'm asking for a motion to approve the compensation as well as the dates laid out here. And just again, the background on this is the assessor sets the assessments annually for all the property within the city of Oak Park. Change of assessment notices go out in the end of February, and residents get a chance to appeal and tell us that they're way too high and they'd like them lower, or vice versa. Don't get a whole lot of those. But they're welcome to come in and appeal their assessments, and that's what these dates are for.
So there's a motion to request to adopt the rate of compensation for the Board of Review members in the 2017 meeting dates and times.
So moved.
Support.
Support, discussion or questions? Mayor Pro Tem Burns?
I just want to say the amount of compensation is the same, has been the same for the last few years, has it not?
Yes, it has. And it's comparable with surrounding communities and, the going rate out there.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready for a vote? Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes,
Councilmember Rich.
Yes.
motion carried.
Finance Director Carl Johnson, 15C, please.
So 15C, annually, the board establishes what the poverty guidelines are. So we're required by the state of Michigan to set the poverty guidelines for our residents. So what this means in English is if your income falls below a certain level, you can request an exemption from paying property taxes at all. The feds establish poverty guidelines. They are extremely low. And so what happens in most communities is they don't believe that those are good levels, and you tend to adopt something that's a little higher. So again, even a low amount, the lower the amount, the harder it is for someone to claim this exemption. So the city has historically taken the approach of 1.5 times the federal poverty exemption level. So again, raising that level so perhaps more of our residents can qualify. And if you can see in the packet, the amounts of those poverty exemptions are still extremely, extremely low for a single person all the way up. So what you have before you is an amendment to our poverty exemption policy that we would hand over to the Board of Review that establishes those guidelines, and it's at 1.5% of the federal guidelines.
Okay, so you're requesting we adopt the City of Oak Park 2017 poverty exemption policy. Is there a motion to adopt this?
So moved.
Second?
Support.
We need you both to be busy tonight.
Yeah, I'm just reading it. Yeah, I see.
Discussion or questions?
Questions.
Yes, please.
Last year's guidelines, how do they compare to this year's guidelines? They're the same?
So on the very last page, I attached last year's poverty guidelines. These guidelines are up a few $100s in each category. The Fed's basically adjusted by inflation each and every year, so they're up slightly. And again, that's what we want for our residents is, a little bit as high as we can go.
Any idea how many residents have had to have the exemption?
That I don't know. That I don't know off the top of my head.
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Ready to vote? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes.
Councilmember Rich,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Finance Director Carl Johnson, 15D, please.
So as you know, on a quarterly basis, the state of Michigan requires that I give you a summary of what our investments are. And what you have before you is the summary as of the quarter end, December 31st, 2016. So what this is, it shows that cash and investments for the city totaled about $26.3 million. Again, that's every dime the city has in non-pension funds, of which about $2.9 million is in the checkbook. About $13.6 million is our short-term investments with the Oakland County Investment Pool, and the other $9.8 million are in longer-term investments, again, longer-term meaning more than 1 year. So the attached report shows the different municipal bonds and certificates of deposit, commercial paper, the investment pool, et cetera, all the different types of investments and what they are and the yield, et cetera. So had some good news. The Fed actually raised the interest rate, so good news for me, bad news for people trying to get a mortgage. They did increase the interest rates by 0.25%. That means the yield I get on investments, in theory, goes up about 0.25%. So, woo-hoo, we're all rich now. But it does help some, so the new investments are at a slightly higher yield. But that's about all that's been happening in the market. And the Fed is proposing 2 additional rate increases during this next calendar year. We'll see what happens. The first opportunity for that was literally this week, and they passed on it, or last week, and they passed on increasing it, so the next one they're talking about is May. So, but this is the investment report, just for your information.
So this is, we need a motion to receive and file the quarterly investment report for period ending December 31st, 2016.
So moved?
Second,
All those in favor?
do we have questions,
Oh, questions, sorry.
please? Yeah. Just to make sure I understand this, the investment pool with Oakland County, which has that 1-day maturity, in other words, that money is accessible within 24 hours, it's continually rolling?
Correct.
All right, so that's the cash flow for $13 million. The municipal bonds, how do you keep track for your cash flow purposes? How do you keep track how much you're gonna stick away for, looks like all these are anywhere from 1 to 5 years.
Yeah, the key with this is cash flow. So part of the benefit of the 3-year budget that we put together is it helps us determine what our cash flow needs are. A lot of the longer-term investments are the fund balance that we talk about. So our water and sewer fund has $3.5 million worth of fund balance that we hope to maintain and not dip into. Our general fund has $3.5 million worth of fund balance-ish. We have fund balance in our road funds, et cetera. So the fund balance minimum levels that we have, that is really the longer-term investments. I add those up, look at what our future projected outflows are and inflows, and that's how I determine how long we can go. I've seen other clients that can go out 5, 6, 7, 10 years, again, based on the size of the municipality and, their fiscal health, et cetera. But, as we talked about before, we have the Act 345 millage coming up, et cetera. And these are all saleable, so even though the maturity's 5 years, at any time, these can be sold for whatever the market has. But the goal with all of these is to invest enough out there to get a greater rate of return. And as you see there, most of these are 2 to 2.5% rate of returns, while keeping enough liquid so that when things come up, we're able to meet our needs as they come due. So that's the philosophy behind investing that we currently use.
All right, thank you very much.
Further questions? Ready to vote? Okay, we have a motion to receive and file the quarter investment report. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
And 15E, please.
15E is the second quarter budget to action report, so again, getting caught up here. So this is the financial report for the general fund through December 31st, 2016. Happy to report that we are right on track with where our budget is, which our budget predicts our revenues to equal our expenditures. So a break even from a operating standpoint, maintaining our current budget. I've noted several things. Obviously, property taxes are collected all at the beginning of the year. Our revenue sharing comes in. Most of the variances on the expenditure side are just seasonal type items. So items like our recreation department and our outdoor activities and our swimming pool, et cetera. Those are all done primarily in the summer through the fall, and then we start those back up again in May. Well, when you look at those as a percentage, those are obviously going to be higher. They're not steady throughout the year. So they're all front-loaded there. Outside of that, there's not a whole lot of additional things. I guess the election is the other one. So we had 2 elections in August and November. So you look at the election department again as well. The elections are done for this fiscal year that we're in yet, so they're going to show slightly over budget on a straight percentage basis, but they're actually right on track with what the budget is. So again, all in all, we're in great shape. The next item you have on your agenda is the amendments that I have towards it, and you'll see that they're small, but the financial report here shows that we're right on track and perfect, that's a big word, doing exactly as we projected or anticipated through the first 6 months of our fiscal year.
Questions? The finance director on this.
Maybe we can have some questions on 15F. We're going to vote separately, but if we can,
Coming up.
as long as he's up there, give us on the amendments, so we have an idea. Is that all right? Or we can do it in a second.
Got to receive and
Got to
file,
receive
yeah.
and file. the
Got to
first
receive
one.
it, so, all right, so let's deal with
Okay.
15E, and then we'll deal with 15F.
Motion to receive and file the quarterly financial report for period ending December 31st, 2016.
So moved.
Support?
Support, and you've got no questions for that, it's the coming one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Now we're on F.
15.
So lastly, is the proposed budget amendment for the second quarter. So again, with the same quarter that you saw there, this encompasses all of the funds of the city. And again, I'm happy to report it is very minimal. The proposed general fund amendment shows a net zero. So again, I've increased the proposed amendment increases revenues by about 19,000 and expenditures as well. The two of them net out. The library fund, again, has collected some additional revenues, and those are going to be used to offset the additional water and sewer costs that have been charged there, as well as the copier lease was net before, and now we're grossing that up. Some of the bigger ones, the mental health court grant fund is a brand-new grant fund that was created. If you recall, in October, the court came in here and got your approval to create or to get awarded that grant. So this fund actually establishes the amount of that award as well as the related expenditures. So that's needed. It's required to do that as well. The road construction fund, that's the bond money that we've had for only a million years. We tried to spend it all at the end of last year, and guess what? We were actually successful. So when the time the budget was created, we weren't sure we were going to spend it all, but we ended up spending it all by June 30. So the budget that was adopted is being reversed out. That's what that amendment is there. And lastly, the sidewalk and special assessment fund, the estimate for the amount of sidewalks we were going to do that was included in the budget was about $500,000. The actual contract that came before you, the M627 project that was awarded and approved by you, totaled about $660,000. So this budget amends the expenditure for that, as well as you know, we bill the residents for the sidewalk replacements as part of the replacement program. So it's offset by an additional revenue as well, so that those two are equal. So again, this is a very small amendment, and which is good. That means department heads are following the budgets, and again, we're right on track with where we hope to
Councilmember
be.
Rich, you have a question?
I'll bring the motion first, and then I'll have the
Got it.
question. So moved.
We have a resolution approving the budget amendment. It has been moved. Is it
Support.
second?
Support.
Moved and supported. Now a question.
line item 801.00, professional services, showing that decrease of 106,000, and that's for what?
In the road construction fund, we were trying to finish up, so that was a contract that was in last year's. We didn't think the contract would be completed by the end of the fiscal year. It actually got completed by June 30 of last year. So when we put the budget together, we thought there was going to be fund balance of $106,000 left
Yeah.
that needed to be carried over, but it wasn't. It was all spent.
So you have a net increase to the fund balance of 105.
Yes, because the
Understood.
budget passed,
All right, good.
which showed we were going to use the fund balance for.
And then, so the
Yep.
same thing up above, item 903.00, the $10,000 for postage? Which is a
Yes, in that
negative
case, we had over budgeted for postage based on where we were last year. So the original budget that I put together, we came in last year about $10,000 less than what I had budgeted this year. So I'm reducing
All
that
right,
amount.
great. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Rich,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Burns,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried.
Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Tungate. Now it is time for call to the audience. Please give us your name and address slowly and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Historically, we don't allow campaigning in this chamber. Anybody? Is that on? Make sure the button's on. Is it, is the green light on?
I'm sorry. Okay.
Got it.
Again, my name is Esther Ingber. I live at 25961 Marlowe Place. I'm a resident of Oak Park since 1990, and so I've gotten to know the community pretty well. I take part in the bike rides on Tuesday nights in the summer, and anyway, some friends of mine were talking about the topic of sanctuary cities. And I would like to see Oak Park issue a proclamation or proposal, I don't know how it's done, that this would be considered a sanctuary city. We are a very diverse community. We have an ethnic advisory committee. When you look at this calendar, we show all the different kinds of people that live here. We're an older suburb of Detroit. Detroit is a sanctuary city. I would imagine we have a number of new people to our community. And I would be very much in favor of seeing our city make a statement to declare ourselves a sanctuary city.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take questions or?
Nope.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Nan Kermuller, and I'm actually on the school board for Ferndale. And I have the position of being your liaison for this year, and so I just wanted to come here and introduce myself to you. I'll be trying to come to as many city council meetings as I can. However, we have meetings like every month they line up, so I'll only be able to come to one. But so I'll come, and whatever you guys want from me, I'll leave my contact information for you. So if you have questions about what's going on at Ferndale Schools, I can look them up and then bring them when I come to the meeting and give you guys an update. And I usually just bring a couple of things that are happening on the calendar in case anybody's interested in attending.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. You have anything tonight?
I do have a few
Okay.
things tonight. So the first thing that I have is we're having a family fun night, and this is for preschool age children. And this is at the Ferndale Early Childhood Center, which is formerly at the Grant Building in Ferndale, and it's on February 16th from 6 to 8. And then on February 27th, we have our African American Parent Network meeting is going to take place at Ferndale High School at 6:30 in the conference room. And then I'll tell you about this again next month, but I just want everybody to save that on the calendar. Our musical this year at Ferndale High School is Seussical the Musical, and it'll be in March 18th, 24th, and 25th.
Give me the title and the dates again.
It's Seussical the Musical, so it's like a Dr. Seuss musical. It's a modern take on Dr. Seuss. I actually, I've never seen this, but the kids are having a lot of fun, so.
And then what are the dates?
The what? For what? Oh, I don't know when the senior performance is for the musical. So March 28th, or March 18th, 24th, and 25th is when Seussical the Musical will be taking place.
The last one was a lot of fun.
The musical is always amazing. They do a really good job with these, and they're working really hard. Actually, my oldest son helps out with the sound, so yeah, they put a lot of effort into this. Does anybody have any questions right now, or anything that you would like to see me bring back next month?
We're good. Thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you for having me. It was
Thank
nice
you.
seeing you all.
Hello, good evening. Andrew Sissel, 23260 Rensselaer, Oak Park, Michigan. Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to piggyback off what Esther was asking and possibly looking for. You know, I don't know how everybody aligns with their political ideology, but obviously we have a president in office right now who's taken a pretty tough stance on immigration. Me personally, I'm appalled by it. I think America has always opened up a warm reception to people who are coming from other places. So I just want to also ask that we as Oak Park make a proclamation and, you know, take a stance kind of against what the president's asking, but basically to say that, you know, here in Oak Park, we're welcoming people. We're warm and we're receptive. I don't know how much, you know, how much weight that it carries with regards to law, but I think it's a stance that Oak Park absolutely should take. I mean, we're a very diverse place. That's something that we pride ourselves on, and I just think it's something that I personally would like to see as a citizen here. I don't know how everybody feels, but I'm curious to know, has that been discussed, or is that anything that anybody on council has thought about, possibly?
Any further comments?
Well, I'm asking, has this been discussed at all?
This is not a back and forth. It's just you make your statement, and then the next person makes their statement.
Okay, well, that's my statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your coming. Anybody else? All right. That brings us to council comments. First, I don't know if you made it to Winterfest, but it was fantastic. We had a sled dog team led by Monk, the spokes dog. They're very friendly to all the children who came, and it was a fun event. Lots going on. Free chili and donuts and cider and s'mores, and it's just a lovely event, and I'm kind of proud to have it in Oak Park. I spoke to a woman who had lived here for about 18 years, and she said when she first moved in, the neighbors said, "Oh, go to Ferndale Recreation. There's not much happening in Oak Park." And she said she can't believe how much is happening between the rec center and the library. So bravo to the rec center and library for all their activities. And I would like to take this time to thank our sponsors, because with money being cut to the cities, we depend on local businesses to help us make these events possible. So the sled dog demonstration was donated by Dr. Lindsay Pick from the Michigan Husky Dog Sled Club. And the face painting was by Joyful Tots. Chili was donated by 1-800-STORAGE. The s'mores, courtesy of Lincoln Drugs. Cookie decorating station, thanks to Coolidge Cafe. Hot chocolate, thanks to Scotia Stop. The DJ music from Wolfson Dental, and the paper products by Suit Depot. And a big warm thank you to Rec Director Lori Stasiak for making this possible. Lori and her staff are amazing, and a lot of fun things are happening in Oak Park now. Mayor Pro Tem Burns.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Please be conscious of the weather and dress accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rich.
Thank you all for coming. Have a great night.
Oh, one final plug. We have an Oak Park Historic Society, and as a fundraiser, we have a history of Oak Park in the 1940s. And it was written by an excellent historian who happens to be Keith McClellan, who majored in history at the University of Northern Iowa and University of Chicago. So aside from being my husband, he is well qualified to do this history and help us out. Come and join the Historic Society. And it's called the Oak Park Mirror, Reflections of Oak Park's Past. Mirror, Reflections. Okay. There being no further business to come before this council, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.